Welcome to Money Talk Radio. I'm Ellis Martin. Join me now for a conversation with Rana Vig, the CEO of Blue Lagoon Resources. Blue Lagoon Resources trades under the symbol BLLG on the CSE and in the U.S. on the OTC as BLAGF. Exciting developments are underway at the company's Dome Mountain Gold Project in British Columbia. With final mine permits secured, full-scale underground mining operations are set to begin, targeting an annual production of approximately 15,000 ounces of gold. The company is gearing up for an operational launch as early as July of this year, with infrastructure, equipment, and key personnel being finalized. A toll milling agreement with Nikola Mining ensures efficient processing, while final preparations, including the installation of a water treatment facility, are on track for completion within the next 3 months. Rana Vig is a seasoned entrepreneur with over 35 years of business experience, launching multiple ventures in the private sector and leading publicly traded companies since 2010. He has held executive roles in mining exploration, including Musgrove Minerals and Continental Precious Minerals, and played a pivotal role in record-breaking cannabis financings as CEO of Lead Ventures and Rockbridge Resources, a struggling oil and gas venture, transforming it by acquiring Harvest Health and Recreation, closing a $300 million financing, making it the third largest cannabis financing of 2018. Recognizing a commodity supercycle, he founded Blue Lagoon Resources, securing a rare mining permit in British Columbia. Beyond business, Rana has been actively involved in public service, serving on boards and charitable organizations, and was honored with the Senate 150th Anniversary Medal for his contributions to the community. Stay tuned as we move closer to production and the next chapter in Dome Mountain's mining journey. Rana, welcome back to the program. It's great to visit with you today. You had an exciting day in Smithers when you opened the Dome Mountain Gold Mine in British Columbia. Tell us all about it. A lot of people were there.
Oh, it was brilliant. It's a day that I've been waiting for 5 years since we founded this company. The vision was always to get into production, and it's been a long, hard battle, but we won. We achieved it. And yeah, it was incredible. We had over 100 people there coming from all over the world, as far away as Germany, South Carolina, Denver, Toronto, all sorts of investors and analysts and future investors, potential investors, ministry people, government officials. We had so many of them. It was incredible. And you know what? The thing that was most gratifying for me was that everyone that I spoke to at length there, all of them went away very impressed, including 18 hereditary chiefs and guardians that came from the Lake Babine Nation. So that was very satisfying.
You've got a great relationship with the First Nations there. That's something you don't have automatically. You have to build that over time. It's extremely important, especially in rich domains like British Columbia.
Absolutely. It's key. You cannot make any move without a true partnership and the support from the First Nations group that you're working with. And we were very fortunate from the very beginning. I say fortunate, but really it was well thought out, if I may say so, with our team. My approach from the very beginning was to make sure that our team understood that we didn't want to just do something for the sake of doing it. We wanted it to be sincere. If I want you to respect me, Alice, I've got to respect you back. It's just very basic. So we sat down with the Lake Babine Nation. We asked them what's important to them. What is it that they wanted? And we learned. And that's what we did. And even at this opening ceremony, they were impressed and pleased with our approach. They did a drum ceremony, for example, when they started. And there's 4 clans. So one song came from each clan. And when I found that out, what we did is we made small little handouts that talked about each of the clans, and we put them on the tables so that the people who were there would learn. And they were like, wow, no one's ever done this before. Just little things that, if you're sincere, that it really shows and goes a long ways, right?
Here's a thing that's no little thing. You've got a water treatment plant attached to the project that can handle 6 times the capacity that you need right now. I'm sure that the First Nations in the area are very impressed with that, as am I, as anyone who can look at this project, especially environmentalists.
Yeah, that's another thing that they were completely blown away by when they toured the plant and we explained to them how much capacity it had. And they're like, wow, why did you do that? I said, because I don't want to take any chances under my watch. The cost of building it slightly bigger was negligible in the big scheme of things. So why not do it? Every step of the way, we're making sure that we understand that we're stewards of this land, right? So we want to take every decision that we make. We want to incorporate the philosophy of the Yinta, right? That be one with the land, respect the land. That's one of the main reasons why we decided to build a plant that's over capacity. Also for the future, that'll support growth and production. Why not incur that marginal expense now, but be be ready for the future to expand production.
Speaking of production, tell us about your relationship with Nikola Mining.
We have a great relationship with Nikola Mining. That's another great partner that we have. Nikola came to the site a couple of years ago, and they were just so impressed to the point where they invested $1 million into the company. And Peter Espig, the president of Nikola, also personally has participated in the past 3 placements. So that was a great validation. And he was there at the opening as well. So we have a fantastic relationship with them, and they've expressed that how our ore will always be prioritized when it arrives at their mill.
This is one of the reasons I think everything that we've just talked about, the fact that you're headed into production, all these factors that we just discussed, makes you pretty much almost a de-risked entity, especially on the CSE, where you're one of the top 25 companies, I understand. And really, the stocks perform very well in the market with a lot of potential for growth.
Yeah, look, we're very proud of the fact that we just reached the top 25 in the CSE here just a couple of weeks ago. The stock has performed very well ever since we've announced the permit back in February. We're just getting started, right? We haven't even produced yet. So we're just getting started. We are now fully permitted. We've just officially opened the mine. We're going to start pre-development as of today, actually. We're just starting some work up there right now. And within weeks here, 6 to 8 weeks, we will start stockpiling our mineralized material. And then once we have enough of that there, we'll start shipping to Nikola, which we expect sometime in September, and start becoming a cash flowing entity. That's very rare in our industry. We've just joined a very elite club, and we're building a foundation. Where will we go from here? Let's see. We're going to get cashed up very quickly here is what I anticipate. And all sorts of opportunities are going to come our way. So we're just getting started.
Look, you're a Canadian company. There's no question about that. But I'm speaking to our audience in Germany right now, and also speaking to our audience in South Florida, where we cover pretty much the entire South Florida. You trade with the OTC markets. You're on the Frankfurt Exchange. You're not just a Canadian company, you're a global concern producing in Canada ultimately.
Absolutely. In fact, I was just in Europe a couple of months ago, and this morning I received a call from one of our key stakeholders who was invited me to come back to Europe in August. So I'm going to be planning on that. We have many investors there. They love gold, and they see the opportunity with what's happening in the market right now. And again, to be involved at an early stage of a producer is so rare. And same thing with the United States. I was just recently in New York, and in fact, I'm doing a virtual meetings in a couple of days, full days of lined up all New York-based investors who want to speak to me. So we are positioning ourselves to be a global company, and we have access to these 3 markets, of course, in Germany and United States, the OTC. And of course, the CSE just acquired an entity in Australia, and they've been speaking to me about how they can help us get more access to Australian investors who also, of course, love mining, but gold in particular.
We have several Australian companies affiliated with us. As a matter of fact, you and I are not strangers to the APAC part of the world at all. Rana, what are the next steps this summer into the fall for Blue Lagoon?
Just focused on getting a safe and efficient operation started here in the next few weeks. And then after that, we expect to produce 15,000 ounces our first year. Once we're running full steam here, we are going to be starting to do the paperwork on the next vein, which sits right adjacent to the current Boulder vein and put a 90-meter decline there. That vein grades even higher, grades at 14 grams a ton. So we're excited about getting that going. We're going to start putting the pieces together right now to start increasing production to 20,000 ounces the following year.
So you're not only a coming producer, but the exploration and development doesn't stop at all, does it?
No, not at all. This is a 22,000 hectare property, and only 10% of it has been touched so far. Now, we know that there's a tremendous opportunity because when we flew the property, the whole thing just lit up. So we have many areas that we need to work on. And the 50,000 meters of drilling that we had done since we bought this property back in 2020, it has very compelling data that we need to follow up on. There was a brand new discovery that we had a couple of years ago that we need to follow up on. So there's a lot of work. So we're not going to be just a producer. It's a very unique company. It's not going to be just a producer, but it's a strong exploration company as well because of all this follow-up that we need to do. And the free cash flow that we're going to be able to generate, we'll be using not only to expand the resource, but also to do exploration so that there's no further dilution.
So there's no exit strategy. You're just going to produce, explore, and develop.
There's always an exit of some sort. What does that look like? It's hard to say that until we get further along here. When I say exit, every shareholder wants to exit at some point. right? So there'll be multiple exits for those shareholders as we build this company. Remember, people have forgotten all great companies, all these giants started with a single mine, right? Agnico in 1957 started with one mine, today they have 11. People have forgotten that. So today we're laying the foundation to build a great company. And the exits will be multiple depending on the entry levels of the people that come in. But as a company, do we expect to be taken out? I don't know. Possibly that's one path, but I don't think so. I think there's a tremendous amount of work that we have ahead of us to build this company. We are truly at the beginning. Somebody joked the other day and said, if it was a baseball game, what inning are you in? I said, we just finished the national anthem.
You're trading as of this particular interview at about 74 cents Canadian and 52 cents US. It is very rare to find a potential opportunity like Blue Lagoon, especially under $1 with all the upside that I've alluded to. And this is all very speculative on my part and perhaps yours. Full disclosure, you're a paid sponsor of the program and you are also the CEO of the company. So we are biased. Having said that, I'm excited and I'd like our audience to take a closer look at Blue Lagoon.
Alice, if I could just add to that, we are biased, but remember, I'm aligned, right? We've got a couple $1 million invested into this company. I'm a large shareholder. I just wrote another check for $130,000 here just a couple of months ago. We are very aligned as we build this company.
Rana, thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to speaking with you again in just a couple of weeks, and congratulations.
Thank you. Pleasure as always.
I've been speaking with Rana Vig, the CEO of Blue Lagoon Resources, trading as BLLG on the CSE and BLAGF on the OTC. Learn more by heading to the company's website, bluelagoonresources.com. For Money Talk Radio and the Ellis Martin Report, I'm Ellis Martin.